Shipping. Taking your favorite characters and putting them together to make a very cute, or weird, couple. Seriously, why is Y shipped with anyone? It's kind of gained its own community solely based around shipping characters. RWBY has so many ships that it even has its own spreadsheet to let you know if it's already a thing. And today, we're going to be looking at some of the best ships. In my opinion, of course.
Always there for me, you've been my family.
Ren Nora, or Flower Power, whatever you want to call it. There are certain ships, as it were, that I kind of just expect to happen. I don't even consider it a ship, more just an inevitable fate. Ren and Nora, for me, fall in that category. I consider it a ship a pairing of characters that were unlikely to ever get together. But the amount of people who ship Ren and Nora is amazingly high. Ship, as in they're calling it a ship, not the people who just expect the two to get together like myself. Ren and Nora, I believe, are the only pairing that either of the two characters can have. Nora can only end up with Ren, and Ren with Nora. Their personalities only mix well with each other. They've been together since they were kids, traveled together, protected one another, and know information about each other that most people don't know. Despite Nora's claiming that the two can never be together, for me, it's the only actual pairing that the two can have. Now going off the Renora ship leads perfectly into this next one. Like I said, I don't believe Ren or Nora's personalities would mix well romantically with any of the other characters that we've seen so far. But, as previously mentioned, I myself consider a ship a pairing of characters which is likely to never happen. Now, that does not affect this list, hence why you saw Renora on this list. While I do believe Ren will end up with Nora, that doesn't stop me from pairing Ren with another character. You see, this ship stemmed from what I like to think sex between the two sounded like. It would either be the most entertaining thing ever, or the most awkward thing ever. That is of course Ren and Neo, the two quietest characters in the entire series. I myself am a big fan of Ren and Neo. Their quiet demeanors are quite the relatable personalities. While Neo doesn't exactly seem to be as awkward as Ren, I do like to think that the two make a very nice and quiet couple. I like to poke fun at some ships, because I don't exactly believe they will ever, or should ever, become canon. I find it fun to talk about how ridiculous some of them are. One of my favorites is the Sun and Kali ship. I like to poke fun at this ship a lot. I've done it a lot in my Volume 4 episodic reviews that aren't reviews because I'm not an asshole, I don't review things. But in my defense, I wouldn't have shipped it if Kali didn't look as though she took an interest in Sun. Like I said, I don't think this ship should ever actually become canon. But, I mean, Blake's playing a little hard to get. Kali, she's already said she's interested in him. Just saying, son. Kali's hot.
I like him.
Mom?
Hot chocolate? What? Out of all the ships you picked this one? Well, you have two very strong and confident women, both who kick ass, both who can stand their own ground, but sometimes you just gotta find a reason to use this clip.
Alright. Yay!
Love
Children!
that
was friendly. That was sweet.
That's all I have to say about that ship. And now we have yet another ship I expect to happen, Black Sun. Despite the amount of people who despise Sun or despise Blake, this is a relationship that I expect to flourish over time if it hasn't already by the time this video comes out. Clearly Sun has an interest in Blake, there's no denying that. He took her to the dance, followed her all the way to Menagerie. He cares for Blake and doesn't want to see her hurt. People who don't like the Black Sun ship are usually in one boat or another. They sympathize with Sun because they feel as though Blake is being too mean to him. Or they sympathize with Blake, saying Sun's a stalker and things along those lines. Well, as a very insightful individual once said, the difference between romance and stalking is that romance happens in movies. In real life, it's called stalking. And you know what RWBY isn't? Real life, as much as we wish it were. It also has to do a lot about intentions. Actions can be misinterpreted. Sun probably shouldn't have hid from Blake for all that time. He should have made his presence known to her. But he did it with the best intentions, and that's all you can really ask for from someone. As for those who defend Sun by saying Blake is too mean by slapping him, well, that's not very true because once again, intentions play the biggest role. Blake slapping Sun doesn't hold weight behind it because she's not intending to actually hurt Sun in the same way Jacques hits Weiss. The weight behind the two are completely different. Blake's slaps are nonsensical reactions to Sun's ridiculous situations. She clearly does not wish to harm him, or in a better terms, she does not wish to abuse Sun. Both have great intentions for each other, they just simply go about it the wrong way.
Always sunshine and rainbows with you.
Toradana. Man, if you thought the Black Sun ship was abusive, you're gonna hate this one. Blake and Adam. I can't exactly defend this one similar to Black Sun, because this is a relationship that could have very well been a thing, unlike the Ren and Neo, which is not and probably will never be a thing. So shipping Ren and Neo was purely based off imagination, but there's a big portion of people who believe, as well as myself to a certain extent, that Blake and Adam used to have a romantic interest in one another. That obviously is based around absolutely nothing. Despite Adam calling Blake his love, there's no evidence that the two used to date. A big disagreement that most people have with this ship is they say it's too abusive to say the least. While yes, I do believe that stabbing your perhaps ex-girlfriend in the stomach with a sword classifies as abusive to say the least, that will not and does not stop me from liking Adam's character. Because I do believe when Blake was a part of the White Fang, that Toradana ended up making quite the formidable couple as we see in the Black trailer.
What was that about?
Nothing. We need to finish preparing. The train will be here at dawn.
Unlike the Ren and Nora ship, which I find an inevitable fate, Iceberg I feel as though can go either way at this moment. Weiss I find to be the deciding factor in this equation of love. Neptune seems to play his hand at all kinds of different scenarios and situations. Weiss, however, is a lot more reserved when it comes to the idea of a relationship. Now, she wasn't completely against it, as she did let Neptune into her comfort zone. I'm mainly for Weiss getting with Neptune because it appears as though Weiss hasn't exactly let anyone into her romantic circle besides Neptune. Everyone else was simply a friend. After everything that Weiss has been through in her life, father, brother, school, so on, Neptune seemed to pull Weiss away from all that. And that is the reason Iceberg is on this list.
Would you like to accompany me to the dance tomorrow?
Now, I'm not much of a shipper. There are a few, as you've seen by this list, that I expect to happen, and others just fun to poke at. Shipping, much like everything, can of course be fun so long as you don't get too carried away with it, as some people do. So, what do you think? What are some of your guys' favorite ships out there? Make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.